Get ready to uncover the entire history of the United States of America in just 5 minutes. In 1492, Christopher Columbus, sailing west for Spain in search of a route to Asia, landed on an island in the Caribbean Sea. Columbus believed he had reached the outskirts of India, and that's why he called the native people Indians. Since Spain funded Columbus's exploration, they began to claim and colonize the lands. At that time, Spain focused mainly on the southern parts of the Americas. Slowly but surely, other major European powers like France and Britain joined the race to conquer the New World. In 1585, England established its first colony at Roanoke in North Carolina, but it mysteriously vanished. England tried again in 1607 at Jamestown, and this time, the colony, known as the Virginia Colony, was successful. Later, in 1620, the Pilgrims arrived in Plymouth. More and more people began arriving in America, and soon the entire East Coast was filled with the 13 British colonies. Meanwhile, the French were claiming the middle part of North America. By 1700, Spain, France, and Britain had taken control of many parts of America. Along with the original inhabitants, people oppressed by Europe also began to settle in America. Then came the year 1754. It was time to decide whose America would it be. Between 1756 and 1763, the 7 Years' War broke out between France and Britain. Predictably, France lost because it had fewer troops. France was forced to give up its territory. Half of Louisiana went to Spain, and the rest, including Canada, went to Britain. Britain's victory left it deep in debt. To recover, it started imposing heavy taxes on the American colonists. The colonists started to protest, which led to the start of the American Revolution in 1765. Their rallying cry was, "No taxation without representation." This fight quickly escalated. On December 16, 1773, American colonists threw 340 chests of tea into the Boston harbor to protest the new tea taxes. This incident became known as the Boston Tea Party. The next year, the British Parliament retaliated by passing the Coercive Acts, which the colonists called the Intolerable Acts. This only fueled more anger among the colonies, and the revolution soon turned into the War of Independence. On July 4, 1776, the Continental Congress officially declared independence. France, an enemy of Britain, supported the Americans in this Revolutionary War, which was led by George Washington. The American Revolution was finally successful. In 1781, the British surrendered at the Siege of Yorktown, and in 1783, the Treaty of Paris formally recognized the freedom of the 13 colonies. The former colonies even gained more territory than they had expected, but freedom didn't mean everything was perfect. For nearly 5 years, their government system was a complete mess. The 13 colonies were acting like 13 separate countries. So in 1787, the Founding Fathers drafted a new constitution and created a strong federal government. In 1789, George Washington became the first president of the United States. From here began the era of American expansion. At that time, the U.S. was much smaller. Most of the land still belonged to Spain. France soon took back its Louisiana territory from Spain. In 1803, the United States purchased Louisiana from France for $15 million, doubling its size. In 1819, America bought Florida from Spain. By 1821, Mexico had gained independence from Spain. And in 1845, the Republic of Texas joined the United States. Disputes over Texas borders soon led to the U.S.-Mexico War, which America won, taking a major portion of Mexico and expanding its territory even further. Later, Britain ceded the southern part of the Oregon Territory to the U.S., keeping the northern portion for itself. At this point, America stretched from sea to shining sea. There was no more west left to conquer. But then came a darker chapter, the American Civil War. Slavery had deeply divided the nation. The North opposed it, while the South depended on it for their economy. In 1860, Abraham Lincoln became president, firmly against slavery. Southern states, fearing Lincoln would abolish it, seceded from the Union and formed their own country. The Civil War raged from 1861 to 1865. Eventually, the North won, slavery was abolished, and the United States was reunited. But here's a question to think about. Even though black people have all legal rights today, do you think they are truly seen as equals in American society today? Please let me know in the comments. But hold on, the expansion of the United States wasn't finished. The country still had more land to conquer and a destiny to fulfill. In 1867, Russia sold Alaska to the U.S. for $7 million. In 1898, the Spanish-American War broke out. Spain lost Cuba, and the U.S. gained Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines, though the Philippines later became independent. Around the same time, the US also annexed Hawaii. America was now a vast and powerful nation. The next part of the story, about how the United States became the sole superpower, will be in the next video, so make sure you subscribe to catch that one.